One thing we all love to do in professional wrestling is fantasy book, and that especially goes for this time of year. And who am I to not participate, right? So let's get into that long, proud tradition of taking the pencil and booking. We're going to book the WWE from now, not far. We're just going to go to WrestleMania. What should the WrestleMania card look like? Well, luckily, I'm here to tell you about it. So this is going to be a mix of what I would do and what I think they will do. It has to be realistic. It's not going to be, oh, you know what they should really do is go out and sign Kenny Omega from AEW and put him in the main event. Like, we're not doing that. We're not being silly. And we're not even going like, oh, it's Stone Cold against The Rock at WrestleMania. Not doing any of that. Although you certainly could with the tie-ins with CM Punk and Stone Cold and The Rock and Roman Reigns. You can have a really fun match with that. But we're not. That's not what today is about. So again, it's a mix of what could realistically happen and what I would like to see happen, and hopefully we kind of bridge that gap well. So let's go to night one. Our first match on night one is for the Intercontinental title. Dominic Mysterio defending his championship against Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Everything's fine in Judgment Day. You can really see with Finn, they are leaning hard toward the babyface side of things. And so I think having this group that's been together for a while now, going back to when Edge was in WWE, obviously different iterations, none of these guys were in there when Edge was the leader of it. Finn Balor takes over. But this has been a pretty big faction. And so to have the blow-off be at WrestleMania, I think makes a whole lot of sense. And you can kind of spin everyone off in their own directions. There's a way to do this where all three guys benefit, because I'm not the biggest fan of JD McDonough, the human, but like wrestling-wise, he's been awesome. And Dominic Mysterio obviously is clicking, and Finn Balor is one of the best talents that the industry has ever seen. So all of them can go off in some great directions after this, and this would be a fantastic match. This is the first one where I feel like I'm going out there a little bit, but I think you can also kind of piece it together. I have the vision of Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory going up against Penta, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce, a long-time professional wrestler, NWA champion, very decorated, truly a really incredible Hall of Fame level career outside of the WWE, and has now turned into a fantastic character inside WWE as the Raw general manager. But I would love for the dude who I got to ring announce for one time, so that's kind of fun. I would love for him to get his WrestleMania moment. And I think all the stuff with the vision, you can tie that in. I know a lot of people have Ray penciled in for someone else, and I will get to that later, I promise. But I think it gets Penta in a pretty big spot. Like, it's Logan Paul at WrestleMania. It's the Vision. That's a main story. It's with Rey Mysterio. Like, you get a lot of star power in it, and you can tie in the Raw GM of it all with Adam Pearce there as well. So I think that really does make some sense, and so that's something I would like to see. This one, it is definitely I like most of these guys and want them on the show, but I didn't have anything for them, so we have to put them in a ladder match. It is a multi-man ladder match for the United States Championship. Some of these I'm sure you're going to disagree with, and I kind of do too. When I put it all together, I didn't have room for any of them. So it is Carmelo Hayes defending the U.S. title against Jacob Fatu, Royce Keys, Solo Sikoa, Rey Fenix, and Aleister Black. And so, like, AEW did this with, Hobbs was in it. It was Hobbs, Wardlow, and I think Lance Archer, where they just had big dudes in there doing crazy stuff with ladders. And then you have the high flying with Carmelo and Rey Fenix. Aleister Black can do a little bit of all of that. I think it'd be a really fun dynamic for a ladder match. I think having Jacob Fatu in that type of a match would be a lot of fun also. And I wish I had bigger things up the card for these guys, but it's just kind of this. But then also I want to have all of these performers be a main focus going into the new year of the WWE calendar. Match number 4 on night 1 is Randy Orton against Trick Williams against Sami Zayn. They have obviously been leaning hard into this with all three of these guys. And it doesn't feel like the title thing's going to happen with Sami, so why not have him with Trick, Randy Orton in there as well. Maybe it does feel like a bit of a waste of the star power of Randy Orton to have him in a triple threat match 1 year after he barely had a match at all with Joe Hendry at WrestleMania, but I think that this is a good introduction for Trick into the WrestleMania spotlight, and with all three of these guys, there's a fun story that you could tell. This one is obviously pending, giving a lot of news lately, but Seth Rollins against Braun Breaker. If Braun isn't healthy to go, I wonder if you just save Seth. I know I said in the Raw recap a bit before that Bronson just gets thrown into this spot now and it's fine, but I wonder if you just kind of save that big return for when Braun Breaker is ready to go, if he's not going to be ready in time for WrestleMania. I still think he will be, so we're putting him on here. Up next, the Women's World Championship on the line. By the time we're recording this isn't official, but it is Liv Morgan against Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship over on the Raw side. I think they've at least started this program very effectively before the official announcement, and I think this would do a really good job of elevating Stephanie Vaquer and this character in what could be a bit of a make-or-break feud for her, and then give them the opportunity to really shine on that WrestleMania stage. This next one is where I feel like I've maybe gone the most far out on night one. I have a rematch from All In, the original one. I think it was at that one. Cody Rhodes against Nick Aldis. This one will not be for 10 pounds of gold, but Cody is obviously starting to spiral a little bit. And I could see a world where he gets some form of injustice happening against him, and he turns on Nick Aldis, or Nick Aldis turns on him, who knows, but like Cody being a lot to deal with one way or the other, and the focus gets pointed at Nick Aldis. So again, kind of similar with Adam Pearce over on the Raw side, but a phenomenal performer in Nick Aldis getting his opportunity on the grand stage of WrestleMania. I think that'd be really cool. And your main event for night one is for the WWE Championship, as the champ on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, defends against LA Knight. Again, I made the case for it on the Raw breakdown. LA Knight has a feud with Drew McIntyre before, and not one that felt like it dragged on and on and on, and we're rolling our eyes like, ugh, again. It opens up some other things, and yeah, like, it Fatu would be the one who would be in this spot if I'm going to stick with Cody against Aldis, so we are keeping someone else out, but it is long deserved that LA Knight get into the main event slot, and to throw him in there at WrestleMania, I think could be really, really huge for him and get him into the megastar that he talks about. So that's my night one of WrestleMania. And just, again, I'm trying to kind of keep it all fair. Like, it would be easy to just be like, oh yeah, 15 matches each night and we're rolling with it. But it seems they've been around 8 or 9 matches per night on the times that they've split WrestleMania up. So that's kind of what I'm trying to stick with here. But again, to recap night one, Finn, Dominic, JD for the IC title, Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory against Penta, Ray Jr., and Adam Pearce, Jacob Fatu, Royce Keys, Solo Sikoa, Carmelo Hayes, Ray Phoenix, Aleister Black for the US title in a ladder match, Randy Orton against Trick Williams against Sami Zayn in a triple threat, Seth against Braun Breaker, health pending, Liv Morgan against Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship, Cody takes on Nick Aldis, and Drew McIntyre faces LA Knight. That would be my night one for WrestleMania. Night two, we start with the women's tag team titles on the line. Some people thinking that they may split this group up, and thinking about it, maybe you probably could, but I like them together, and I think you can do some other stuff with the title on the SmackDown side for the women. So I have Rio staying together, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defending against the Kabuki Warriors, Charlotte and Alexa, and the Bella Twins. I think there's enough story between all of them to kind of go around, and you can make that work. You can make that. I think it would be an excellent match. There'd be some phenomenal storytelling that you can tell with a lot of legendary characters in there, and then the match itself, I think, would be just fantastic. So I know that this could end up not happening if Rhea gets spun off into a world title opportunity, but for now, I like how this sets up. Match 2, Oba against Brock. If it were up to me, Brock wouldn't be on these shows, but it would also be disingenuous of me to just not have him on there, and there wasn't an obvious spot for Oba either way, aside from main event, apparently, this week wrestling on those shows. So hopefully that gets kind of jumped up a little bit soon. I know there have been some rumors of Brock involvement at WrestleMania and at Elimination Chamber and getting into things with LA Knight as well. So we'll see what happens. But this one's definitely more along the lines of, if I have to, this is what I would do. We have a multi-woman match for the U.S. title. Julia against Chelsea Green against Kiana James against Lash Legend. Legend and Nia, pretty effective as a tag team, but there was a lot of focus on Lash in the Royal Rumble. I think you try to capitalize on that. Put her in this matchup here for the U.S. title with Chelsea Green, Kiana James, and Julia. Also, it feels like James is a bit more of the focus right now. I think Julia should be after an incredible run in Stardom. It just hasn't clicked the way that we would want it to, so I am hoping that this would kind of jumpstart her a little bit more. Match 4. This is the first time I go kind of out there on night number 2. I have the MFTs against the Usos, against Pagano and Psycho Clown, against the Motor City Machine Guns and the Creeds in a match to unify the tag team titles on the men's side. The tag team division on Raw barely exists. The one on SmackDown, very good. But, oh, sorry, I forgot. Fraxium's involved in this one also. The one on SmackDown's very good, but I don't know if you have enough teams to really have 2 brands going. So, why try? Unify these belts the same way you do the women's ones. It allows you to get the star power, maybe of the Usos, over onto both shows, or the way they've done with Rhea and Io and various other ones in the women's tag team division. A fun Mania spotlight for the guys out of AAA. Those tag titles not involved in this. I mean, you could. I don't think that would work, but just get them that kind of spotlight. I think the match would be unbelievable, just insanity. But yeah, I think let's not mess around with 2 tag divisions anymore. The next one, El Grande Americano against El Grande Americano. I said on the Raw breakdown, it's not working for me right now, but this feels like the thing that you do. A mask versus mask match. Gable gets unmasked. Now he's Chad Gable again, and we can go on with a guy who was really rounding a corner as a character and as a performer, and really create another guy in the strong-ish mid-card on Monday Night Raw. Next one is where I am, again, going a little bit out there. Gunther against AJ Styles. I know. And admittedly, my plan gets thrown off a little bit with Gunther not qualifying for the Elimination Chamber at the time of this recording, because I kind of had it that like AJ would jump Gunther and get Gunther beat up before the Elimination Chamber, costing him in that match and setting up AJ to get one more match out of Gunther to try to get his career back and not have to retire or something along those lines. So there has been it was all just too obvious and just, oh yeah, no, he didn't want to, the Mania send-off would have been too much. So Royal Rumble is fine. Maybe I'm just being I'm being overly optimistic, but I would just love for AJ to get one more WrestleMania moment, and a match with Gunther I think would be a pretty good one. Women's Championship on the line. I would have Jade against Tiffany Stratton. Again, I know it wasn't the prettiest the last time they did it, but these are 2 people who are like future face of company sort of performers, and it would take some work, but I think you could get people into it again. And this would be kind of a, let's try to steal the show sort of a thing with these 2. I know that there's maybe a Rhea thing that you could do with it, but I think Tiffany needs to kind of be back in that main event picture, and Jade isn't losing the belt between now and then. If Bianca comes back from her finger injury, I had it as a triple threat. I don't know how you get there, but I needed to put her on here somewhere. So, next, it is the Intercontinental title on the line for the women with Becky against AJ. However it goes down in Chicago, you do a rematch here. This feels like it's earmarked for WrestleMania. And then lastly, obviously, Roman Reigns against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. So again, I went with 9 matches on this one. That's stretching from the 8 that I wanted it to, but I couldn't not have Oba and Brock on there, and I had to have Gunther, so I just threw in an extra match just because it's my show. Come on, I can do that. So, again, to recap, Night 2, Rio against the Kabuki Warriors, against Charlotte and Alexa, against the Bella Twins for the women's tag team titles, Oba against Brock, Julia, Chelsea, Green, Kiana James, and Lash Legend for the U.S. title, unifying the men's tag team titles, the MFTs, the Usos, Fraxium, Pagano and Psycho Clown, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Creeds, Mask vs. Mask, El Grande Americano, 1v2, Gable versus Kaiser, Gunther against AJ Styles, Jade against Tiffany Stratton, potentially against Bianca Belair for the WWE Women's Championship, Becky against AJ Lee, and Roman Reigns against CM Punk. So, how'd I do? Let me know in the comments anything you disagree with, anything that I missed, or anything like that, and we can have that conversation in the comments. Or if you're listening on in podcast form, hit me up on social media, and we can talk about it there. Wanting to do a lot more live streams in the future. Again, radio things have kind of gotten in the way of that, but haven't forgot about the live streams over on multiple different platforms, so definitely wanting to get that going, probably after the hockey game, Canada against the US, but in a few other platforms and for a few other things as well.